Did Russia shoot down a chariot? I'll call bullshit. I'm gonna start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And you have the latest claim, and this is dealing with Russia, that allegedly a UFO was shot down, but they still can't pinpoint what it actually was. You know, after all, it could have been a Ukrainian drone, you know, maybe spying on their borders, and you know, Russia just happened to react and shot the device out of the sky. But some of them were insinuating that it could have been a so-called UFO. Now we know for sure it definitely wasn't a chariot, because the chariots of the Lord, which are the angels, the vehicles that the angels actually hover in, are impenetrable. They're indestructible. They're basically full of power. All right. So we know for sure that it wasn't a chariot of the Most High. But you know, this is the question that's being raised. All right. So I'm gonna play maybe about a minute of this, and then I will definitely get into some scriptures, and I also got some clips pulled up where you've had other militaries in the past, you know, try to shoot at actual chariots, and they failed every time. All right, because you just can't simply. I mean, the scriptures even say, you know, there's no wisdom, there's no understanding nor counsel against the Lord. So any type of thing that this devil can come up with, um, when it comes to the Heavenly Father, is to no avail. All right, and we know the prophecy talks about how the Lord and his angels are going to prevail against the dragon and his angels. All right, all these armies are going to get ran through by the Lord and his angels. It talks about there being a war in heaven, Michael and the angels versus the dragon and his angels, in which the dragon and his angels, they got their asses handed to them. And that was all seen in the vision of John the Revelator. So based on that alone, all right, we know that this is complete bullshit. So anyway, let me play the report, and then we'll get some scriptures.
It's time to close out the week with our interesting stories chat with Richard Southern. And Richard, the Russian government is making some pretty major claims tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we're not too happy, I guess, with the Russian government right now. But that aside, Russian air defenses, Melissa, did say that they shot down a UFO. They actually released some video of it. We're looking at it here. This was reportedly shot down in the Rostov area near the Ukraine border. The governor of this Russian region said the UFO was a small-sized object in the shape of a ball and was flying roughly 1.5 miles high in the sky on January 3rd when the decision was made to shoot it down. Now, it is not clear what the object is. It's certainly possible it was a Ukrainian or maybe even a Russian drone related to the conflict. We don't know. Still, though, back in September, the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine claimed the skies over Kyiv were swarming with unidentified flying objects. So add this to our long list of what was that up in the sky.
Yeah, very interesting. You never know. Now, Prince Harry's new book contains some...
All right, so you just heard the report. So they're still trying to really figure out what that object was. And it could have very well been, you know, maybe a Ukrainian drone. It was definitely man-made. It was definitely not a chariot of the Most High. All right. Esau, you know, at the end of the day, though he has that left hand power, it even tells you that in Revelation how the beast, have the power to cause fire to come down from heaven. So he has left hand power. He lives by the sword. All right, that was the part of the blessing that Isaac gave Esau. But the amount of power that he does have is definitely not going to um, penetrate the glory and majesty of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You simply won't win with that. All right. Now, before I pull a couple of scriptures, let's just show these examples real quick. This is military tries to shoot at UFO, Chariots of Israel. That's an epic fail, because all that firing that they did, nothing got hit, nothing got touched, and they were still just sitting up there, super bright. These armies, they ain't got nothing for the Lord or His angels, which are His messengers. All right, they're real quick, because the scriptures talk about the might of the angels. It is Psalms 103 and 20. It says, "Bless the Lord, ye His angels that excel in strength, that do His commandments, hearkening unto the voice of His word." So they excel in strength. Okay, and that's why they can come down and protect and be as a hedge for the nation of Israel, because they excel in strength and might. All right, they're indestructible because they're full of celestial energy. They're celestial. They're not earthly. Neither are the vehicles that they travel in. It's not from this earth. They're full of the glory of the Lord. All right. It says, "Bless ye the Lord, all ye His host, you ministers of His that do His pleasure." All right, and they're ministering spirits. They're like fires. All right, you're gonna shoot a hot object towards fire, it ain't gonna do anything. All right. Now let's go here real quick to Psalms 46. Psalms 46 and 1. It says, and it's to the chief musician for the sons of Korah, a song upon Alamoth. The Most High powers is our refuge and strength. All right, because the angels, they excel in strength. All right, and they work for the Most High, and they're there to serve and protect the Lord's chosen. A very present help in trouble. All right, now when you read this same translation, like when you read the same verse in the Amplified Bible, let's go to a Bible Gateway real quick. We're gonna go to the Amplified translation. Let's go to Psalms 46. See, right now, these nations, because they have that firepower, they all are, lifted up. But the Lord's going to eventually show them that at the end of the day, that they're just men. All right, he's gonna, ultimately make them afraid. All nations are gonna fear before the Lord. All right. Psalms 46, verse 1, it says, God is our refuge and strength, mighty and impenetrable, a very present and well-proved help in trouble. All right. So his strength is mighty and impenetrable. So that means what? Even the angels, which excel in strength, that are messengers of the Most High, they're part of His glory. Well, they're mighty and they're impenetrable. So we know for sure that you ain't using no torpedo or missile to take down no chariot. It just simply can't happen. Impenetrable, impossible to pass through or enter. See that? So if anything was shot down, it definitely had to have been a man-made crafted object. It definitely wasn't a chariot. Okay. And we have video footage that demonstrates that. Let's get another one. Let's get this one here. Romanian military tried to shoot at the chariots. So as you can see, another epic case of a fail. All right, they don't know what that is up there, but they shooting at it, and it ain't going nowhere. It ain't moving. It's not being shot down or anything. All right, these nations, man, and that's why the angels are gonna have a field day. All right, on the day of the Lord, when the Lord finally say, "All right, let's get to it." When the Lord comes down and finally, wage war against these heathens, man, the angels gonna have a field day because right now they have to hold back. They toying around with these heathen. All right, they're just on the earth doing their bidding. All right, working on the minds of the rulers of these nations so that they can prepare for war. That's why it's been fleets of them, over Ukraine, just over there in that area because they keeping it active over there. All right, that's why that war over there is beginning to progress even more. All right, but right now, they sticking their chest out. Like the scriptures say, let the weak say they I'm strong because they have this firepower. They got missiles. They got defense systems, anti-aircraft technology. All right, ballistic missiles. Russia got the hypersonic, the sophisticated missiles, ICBMs. But the Lord is who put that into their hand. The Lord calls it his armory. I think it's what, Jeremiah 50 or 51. All these weapons they're holding basically for the Lord, because it's going to be put to use on that final day. Yeah, Psalms, it's like Jeremiah 50 and 25. It says, "The Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation." That's those arrows, the glittering spear. All right. It says, "For this is the work of the Lord of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans," because ultimately he's gonna let these nations open up and fire upon Babylon, which is going to result in this place being totally decimated. All right. So, all these weapons of wars, really, they belong to the Most High. Those are his weapons of his indignation. Okay. And the Lord is a man of war. That's why he permitted them to have these weapons. Because this is all part of the Lord's will. Okay. He wants war. All right. There was you had the first woe, the second woe, and that's past, and now the third one is coming quickly. And the Lord is the one who's preparing that war. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Beat your plowshares into beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. All right, be prepared. Get ready for battle. All right, that's the only reason why he's permitting these nations to hold all these weapons and all this equipment and technology. But then after all that, after they fight with each other for the next spot on top, all right, the Lord's going to come down and claim his throne and pretty much, take over. And he's going to subdue all these nations, and they don't have a shot, man. All right, it's just going to be completely. It's going to be the Lord's just going to walk right through them. All right, Revelation 17 and 14, and it says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And they that are with them are called and chosen and faithful." All right, which are the Lord's elect, and they're going to be with them in a chariot. All right, and they're going to be changed into immortals. Yeah, that's the New Jerusalem, and we're going to be turned into battle axe and weapons of war. So these nations are going to be nothing before us. So let's go from there to Revelation 12 and 7. And it says, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven." So, when this happens, this devil will no longer have place within, rulership. He's going to be taken completely out of power. He will no longer be seen as the authority over the earth. All right. It's going to be the end of his reign. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So, you got NATO, all right, all these different armies of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which are, predominantly Edomite countries, their armies, are going to fight against the Lord, and they're going to lose drastically. Okay. So guess what? They're not going to be able to shoot down none of the chariots, none of the angels that's going to be with the Lord. None of them are coming down. You're not going to have one angel that's going to, mayday, mayday, none of that shit. But Esau, they're going to be getting zapped. Okay. You read that in Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. It's going to turn them into dust, into powder, man. It's Second Ezra 13 and 1. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, talking about the chariots. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. So the world is going to be frightened when they see him. It tells you that in Revelation that, every eye shall see him and shall well be because of him. All right, they're going to be, their hearts are going to fail them for fear, looking at what's coming upon the earth. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. And after this I behold, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And this is in the midst of the war of Armageddon, which means mountain of the troops. All right, they're going to be in the midst of fighting. And then when the Lord comes back, they're going to turn from fighting each other, and they're going to try to fight against the Lord. And they're going to be trying to attempt, like you seeing with them attempting to shoot the chariots. They're gonna try with their attempts, and it's just going to be one big fail. It says, but I behold, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. So this was the largest chariot, all right, that the world has ever seen. And it's going to cover the face of the sky. That's why everybody's going to be able to see him. It says, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight. So they dared to fight. The Lord put it in them. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. All right, because the Lord, he's not going to have weapons mounted on the chariot. All right, he's just coming straight with that celestial angelic power. The same power has always been instrumental in our deliverance. Every time the Lord delivered us, the Lord showed his might. He always delivered us with that right hand. All right. He delivered us with that right hand coming out of Egypt. And the Lord did so many miraculous things with his right hand. All right. It says, but I only saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. So he's going to be shooting lasers, and also it's going to be, very windy, like a storm. So they're going to get blasted and blown away. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one of them, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. That's how the Lord left them. He turned them into basically dust. All right. basically just disintegrated these men, and there was nothing that they could do. All right, they couldn't return the fire. They just got zapped. You probably ain't going to have a chance to shoot nothing up because we know that the Lord's going to just suddenly appear. He said he's coming like a thief in the night. But they're gonna try to fight. They're gonna bring out the fighter jets and the tanks and all that, and it's not gonna do nothing. All right, even was that in Psalms, they trust in chariots and horses, but it ain't gonna do nothing. In Psalms 20:7, it says, "Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord, our power, Yahweh." All right, it says, "They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright." All right, and our enemies, they're gonna be brought down. They're gonna fall. Babylon is falling. Lucifer is gonna fall, which is the elite. All these nations that are lifted up, they're all gonna be brought down. All right. So we know for sure Russia ain't. They definitely ain't shoot down no chariot. All right. Straight up, you ain't shooting down no angels. And also, because Russia, we know that the Lord's going to use them in prophecy to take down Babylon. They're going to shoot their missiles on this place, but they're going to get proud after they destroy America. And the prophecy say in Ezekiel that they're going to try to come against you know our people. They're going to come against Israel. And what the Lord's going to do is he's going to take that power out their hand. Let's get Ezekiel 39. Ezekiel 39 and verse I'll just start at the top. It says, "Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and leave but the sixth part of thee, and I will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel." All right. So here they come with their military, their army. "And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and I will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand." So all the firepower that Russia does have, because they're going to be victorious against Babylon, but they're not going to be victorious against the Lord and his people. Okay. The Lord has the power to defy that. And then eventually, once they get done up, we're going to strip them of their weapons. And that's where the prophecy fulfilled in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, where the nations will not lift up sword, neither will they learn war anymore, because we're going to dispose them of this technology, all right, this weaponry. All right, Esau will no longer have his blessing to fall back on. He's just going to go simply straight into captivity. All right, so he ain't going to have any power in his hand, because that's his power. It says, "Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beast of the field to be devoured." So basically, their armies, they are going to die, and the Lord's going to just, you know, give their dead bodies, their corpses, over to the birds. All right, because there ain't gonna be no other superpower in the earth besides Israel. Israel is going to be the superpower. All right, so let's get some more precepts on that. Let's go to Psalm 76. Yeah, Psalm 76 and 1, it says, And Judah is the most high power known. His name is great in Israel. And Salem also is his tabernacle and his dwelling place in Zion. There break he the arrows of the bow, the shield, and the sword, and the battle. Salah. Okay, let me see if I can let me read this. In the NLT, it says, there he has broken the fiery arrows of the enemy, the shields and swords and weapons of war. All right. So the Lord's he's gonna break them. So, they can't do nothing against the Lord and his people, leaving them powerless. All right. Powerless and defenseless. I think there's another one. Let me see. Oh, let's go to Psalms 46 again. Yeah, Psalms 46 in verse. I'll start at verse 4. It says, there is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of the Most High Power, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. The Most High Power is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. The Most High Power shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged. Now, why do the heathen rage? Why do they imagine a vain thing? The kingdoms were moved, and there's going to be heavy quakes. That's going to take place during that day when the Lord judge and make war. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. Read that in 2nd Ezra 13, right? The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow. Your modern day bow, all right, your spear, that's your missile. All the modern weapons of war. That's your modern bow. That's your modern spear, pruning hook. All your defense weapons. That's your shield. It says he breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. So all that's gonna get blazed up. Your tanks, all right, your Humvees, all your aircraft, your drones. It says, be still and know that I am the Most High Power, or powers, all right? Because the Lord has, angels, which are powers, all right, that represent him. It says, I will be exalted among the heathen, I will be exalted in the earth. And he's gonna get that just due. And everybody that's proud and lofty, the Lord's gonna bring them down. Is that Isaiah 2:11? Yeah, Isaiah 2:11, it says, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts is upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, he shall be brought low. All right, so there it is, man. So them Russians, they're going to be brought low because they're being exalted right now. All right, Esau, the eagle, all right, which is, basically the beast. America, NATO, EU, going to be brought down. All these other nations that's, sitting on a high horse, all going to be brought down. All right. So did Russia really shoot down a actual chariot, a angel? Bullshit. And I'm gonna end off with that. I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.